as a child, the only creative things I've done were Lego. and I was growing thinking I'll be either a lawyer or architect,
Okay.
which is sort of creative, but I never thought I'll be where I am now. Nothing planned, it just randomly happened.
Cool. And I'm curious, like, why lawyer or architect? Was that something more influenced from your parents or someone around you? Or?
Well, yeah, it's one of those things, you know, when parents start telling you about proper profession.
That's right.
My grandfather is a captain, goes to see all these manly things, and he never, until his last day, I think he never really understood what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. He thought I need to be a seaman. So I was freelancing since I was 15. I started to freelance in school, and I was doing Photoshop and all that kind of stuff at the beginning. And that was my main source of income. It's only 2010 maybe when I started to be interested in 3D. But up until 2014, I was freelancing, doing websites, brochures, and all that kind of stuff. But then that stuff in Ukraine happened, right? And my main clients, they were all from Russia. And I'm in Latvia, which is European Union. So they stopped ordering anything from me because financially it made no sense for them, because they could find freelancers in Russia. So I lost any kind of income, and I didn't have any job back home. So, and my wife lived here for quite a long time. She said, you should try yourself there. And I didn't have English or anything. I just, the only knowledge of English I had was from school. And I came here speaking like true immigrant. I struggled to find my first job because I didn't have any corporate experience, nothing.
Right.
Nothing really significant. Just a couple of fancy images in the showreel, stills. No showreel, nothing. And 2012 MacBook. That's it.
So I'm curious, like, what kind of places were you targeting at the time? What type of work? Was it still more Photoshop stuff, or what particular?
To be honest, when you're at this kind of level in life, you don't care. I was applying anywhere. I could be a graphic designer, artwork, or whatever, something, but at least something somehow related to the industry. But I was lucky, I got refused a lot. I was looking for a job for almost like 7 months or something. And luckily, Natalia's, my wife's brother, he was kind enough to provide me bed, basically feed me for that period of time. Great. So I owe him a lot. And I found the first job in Southampton in an agency as a motion designer. So I was super lucky.
Yeah, no, I love that, because I think it's so critical to have people around you who are supportive, and that's both, you know, whether it is financially or having the basics such as a roof over your head, but also in addition, like having people who support you kind of more emotionally. Because, like, if you don't mind talking about, like, what was it like during those 7 months of kind of getting that rejection? Because again, I think a lot of people, and I know you've got a few videos on this, like a lot of people just assume that there's some of us who just kind of like decided one day we're going to do 3D or we're going to do creative work, and we just kind of start rocking it out, and we never have those tough times or struggle. And I think it's really important for a lot of people to realize, like, yeah, all of us go through that time, and it's tricky, but the ones who stick with it are usually the ones who make it. So for you, like, what was it like in those 7 months of like learning English, living in the UK, but also trying to find your place in amongst everything?
So I did mention that I didn't have any showreel, and I only had 2012 MacBook, right? So obviously I spent these 7 months just cracking on learning like a maniac. I didn't sleep. I was just doing and rendering on this little MacBook to have at least something. And I think this little something allowed me to get the job. But I know exactly what you're talking about, and I think it's a hot topic, to be honest, because in the comments on my YouTube videos, I see comments like, oh my God, you're a son of a rich, like, parents. You have all that fancy stuff behind you, like gadgets, cameras, and all that. But Sometimes I do reply in comments, like I started from basically literally nothing, like one MacBook and just t-shirt and jeans, that's it. And I even recorded a video called Far Away from Opportunities, showing where I'm from, telling my story a little bit, that hopefully maybe will inspire someone, people saying that they are inspired. And I don't know how it is like in 2020. It's totally different market now. It's another generation catching up that have different opportunities, you know, different mindset, different technologies around them. But I mean, it can't.
New phase too.
Yeah, it can't happen in a moment. You know, you need to at least somehow build a strategy, plan it a little bit, get support from relatives maybe to say like, listen, I want to do this thing, but it probably will take me like that long, and go from there. The jobs. It's another tricky question. People are concerned about education. Should they go to uni? Should they try to do it themselves? And it's heavily dependent on the person, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Older me was very anti-university, but I still felt like, well, for certain personalities, having that consistency or the expectation of you to accountability, I guess, to show up, you know, it's structure for them. So I think, you know, that and also getting to meet people were two really big benefits. But the way I really feel personally is that the real experience, the real knowledge you'll get is on the job, and the people that you're around as well, that you learn from. So the longer you're at school, the longer you're delaying ever really getting started. So, you know, especially these days with so much information free and, you know, paid online, you know, I think that for a lot of us, we can just get going as soon as possible. And once you get your foot in the door, you know, I feel like the first few weeks are going to be worth the first few years, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, the thing, my problem with the educations, especially when it comes to any sort of graphics, even web design or whatever, it's really clumsy, if you know what I mean. Technology evolves like crazy fast. And education, it's like the government, it can't keep up. My business partner tells me, oh, look at that guy, he just graduated. I don't bloody care, because let his showreel speak for him.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean necessarily that these are bad artists, but it's just, I think it's time not the most efficiently spent. People like yourself and other amazing true artists from a true industry, if you want that practical real knowledge, just go and grab it. It's free. I gave a speech on Andrew Kramer's Video Copilot Europe tour a couple of years ago.
Right.
That was my topic, to try to inspire people to realize that everything is there for free. You just need to type in the questions and get your answers.
That's right. Yeah, I think in some ways, like, there's too much information out there, and that's kind of like the tricky thing, is finding the right, you know, avenues to go down. But you're right, like, everything's there these days, and that's something that I don't think either of us really had, you know, getting into any of this. Like, I still get jealous that people are learning 3D in high school, because, you know, it took me years to be able to finally be able to explain to people what I do, just because there was, you know, when Toy Story came out, I could finally point and be like, yeah, that kind of stuff. Just because no one really knew what that thing was. It is such a critical topic, what you're talking about, like coming from nothing, and also, you know, people having the expectation that, like, you know, everything's handed to you, you know, on a silver spoon. There's a lot of misconceptions about that, and I think that, you know, a lot of us, it is about, you know, paving the way yourself rather than relying on other people. And the more that you give people permission, or expect people to do everything for you, the less you're going to be, you know, tough enough to kind of really make it later on.